Moving on. So next one, delivery over method. I'm sure many of you will be have some kind of feeling about this. Conversations across the industry, waterfall, agile, which one's better? Actually, neither of us are, any organizations are really doing one or the other. We're doing a mix of things. We're doing sometimes what needs to happen just to get the job done. But I think we'd had a conversation, Eileen, hadn't we, about actually we're a bit sick of the labels stuff because it's too easy sometimes when you've got a label on it not to really unpick that and actually really understand what it's all about. So
I think the other thing is as well is that there's this assumption that best practice, whatever it's called, we need to do everything of and dot every I and cross every T. And it's really easy for the PMO to hide behind that and say that's what best practice is, rather than saying actually it may be best practice, but it's best practice for what I would call textbook land, where you've got perfect employees, you've got perfect sponsor, perfect project management, you have all of the information available, everybody behaves in the way that you would expect. And if anybody works in that organization, please get in touch because I've never met one yet. Yes, we all have to deal with kind of real humans that have their own agendas and their own challenges and the politics and the problems and the admin and the links with other parts of the organization. That means we have to look at things that are right for us, which isn't pure textbook.
Yeah, I think it's also a reflection of what's going on in the wider world in different types of industries as well, where the key seems to be about precision, which is about trying to do things to fit different contexts. It's such a big buzzword in healthcare, isn't it? About how you're trying to treat the whole person rather than little bits of things that are going wrong. And I think this is a kind of response to that. And you just think, gosh, how on earth do we do that then? In terms of from a PMO point of view, we can't have everything running in a different way and doing different things. But we refer back to trend two, which is about simplicity. It's about trying to find that balance between the two. Again, we just had a later part in 2025 was actually somebody, I think again at Edinburgh, somebody had actually, done a session for us on PMO Learn again, just to say, well, what is this hybrid thing and how do you actually do it? But it makes sense. And what you're seeing there is just a really simple approach. There's 1, 2, 3. There's a different types of hybrid and how you put those things together. So if you're looking for a simple way that gets us away from labels of delivery methods into something that can feel a bit more fit for purpose, actually that is not a bad way to go about it because it's still quite high level, having a core governance framework and then being able to say, well, actually for this particular project, these things have to be done, but actually for this project, you only need to be doing X, Y, and Z on top of that. So again, it's just about the simplicity approaches, but I would certainly check out the hybrid approach session that we did, which is again in the library, to give you some feelings and some thoughts about that and how you might be able to take some of the principles away from it and how you would potentially bring that into your own organization. I think the other thing that I put there again then, Eileen, was actually for many of us, it's actually understanding what core governance really is within our context. And are we all clear on what that is? I think there's some baby step stuff here, and then there's, depending on where you are in the world, then there's some more advanced stuff you can do. That feels like a first step to me.
Yeah. So, and in terms of, kind of definitely the P3G, the project program portfolio governance standard that came out last year, the year before, is really worth looking at because I think part of the challenge is understanding who gets to decide over what is a really big part of that.
So, just moving on again. So again, just really nice. The images are great, aren't they? Just for again, just for you can dive back into these. We'll be sharing them in our LinkedIn group, so you'll be able to go back and just be, familiarize yourself with some of these. We'll be obviously dotting them throughout the year every time we do some stuff because that's the point of it. We're looking at these emerging trends. As we look at our events and what we're doing with members over the coming year, will be to address some of these things so we can learn more and go deeper into them. So that's delivery over methods. And I think If you ask many of your people that are working within project management, they probably feel pretty much the same because there are 1,001 different name methods out there, and it's just all gets a bit silly sometimes. Anyway, back.